With the season fast approaching, which three Inter players are under the most pressure heading into 2026? Now, if you're new, make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, but always tell me your three players in the comments. Number one, I feel like it's self-explanatory, especially when you bear in mind what happened during the summer and when you look at the overall interest in his name. Hakan Calhanoglu. Now, of course, Hakan Calhanoglu, he's getting older season by season. Hakan Calhanoglu is picking up more injuries, but Hakan Calhanoglu is still a very impactful player in Inter's midfield. Like, the role that he does, there's not many players that can do it in an Inter shirt. And you could see last season, when Calhanoglu played, and he played to the best of his ability, Inter looked like a far better team. But we never saw that on many occasions because of the injuries, because of him being substituted at times. Listen, Calhanoglu, for me, this is a massive season, especially after what happened in the Club World Cup between him, Lautaro Martinez, Beppe Marotta, the comments, everything on social media. Then you look at the fact that Galatasaray were desperate for his signature. Teams in the Middle East till now, like Al Nassr, are looking at him. I feel like Inter definitely look at him and say, you are a player that we're probably going to be open to letting you go maybe in 12 months' time. But if in 12 months' time, Hakan Calhanoglu has rolled back the years and he's had performances very similar to Inter's Scudetto winning campaign from 2 years ago, people might look at him and say, you know what? You're not finished yet. There's still some more juice that we can squeeze out of you. And I feel like Calhanoglu, it's going to be a massive season. Like, I feel like the Inter fan base is a little bit split on him because some maybe feel like he didn't give it his all last season. Maybe some feel like the comments in the summer where maybe he could have made himself available for the Club World Cup, but he never ever really wanted to. Then, like, I just feel like there's a lot of scrutiny under his name. There's a lot of question marks. There's a lot of doubt. Does he really want to be at Inter? I don't know, but I feel like this season he needs to put everything aside. He needs to put the injuries aside and he needs to replace that with consistency, with being reliable, with being impactful. Like, in my opinion, when Inter won the Scudetto, you could seriously make a case he was one of the best registas in the world, Hakan Calhanoglu. Like, dropping a little bit deeper from that offensive playmaker role that he's played throughout the years at Bayer Leverkusen, Milan, first few years at Inter. Calhanoglu, for me, he is under a lot of pressure. When you look at the amount of money he earns, when you look at his age, when you look at the fact that there is interest across the world for Hakan Calhanoglu. If he doesn't step up this season, he's gone next summer. No debate, he's gone next summer and Inter will bring in somebody. But if he does perform and he does show the consistency and he does show that quality, there's not many registas of his level in the modern game. Like Hakan Calhanoglu, dropping deep, spraying passes left, right and centre. He genuinely was amazing in that Scudetto winning campaign. This season, he needs to go back to that level. So I have him as numero uno, the first player under pressure. Now the second player is DeMarco. Probably not a name that you thought I was going to mention, mainly because I feel like that Champions League performance has left such a bitter taste in so many Inter fans' mouths. Like, yes, Inter got spanked. Yes, Inter overall, collectively, as a team, tactically, individual performances, they weren't great and they didn't deserve anything out of that game. But I feel like when you look at DeMarco and you look at, like, his reading of the game, his inability to assess situations defensively, his inability to be at the right place at the right time on a consistent basis. And when you bear in mind that throughout the entire Champions League run, whether it was Bayern Munich, whether it was Barcelona, everybody always looked at DeMarco and said, as much as you benefit this team offensively with your playmaking, with your goal scoring, defensively you are a massive liability. And I feel like this season, maybe he needs to move away from being labelled as DeMarco, the wing-back that gets you goals and gets you assists and scores you free kicks, to now being labelled as DeMarco, the complete fullback, the complete wing-back, the complete defender, somebody that can have an impact on games both ends of the field. Offensively, it's no debate. He's one of the best in this area, if not the best in this area. But I feel like defensively, he's definitely somebody you could target. He's definitely somebody you can get the beating of. And I feel like just his performance in the Champions League final, like his positioning, turning his back on a shot, like I feel like it's annoyed a lot of people. And especially when you bear in mind, whenever Carlos Augusto has played in his position, he's been defensively far more resolute, far more tenacious, far more aggressive. Got that passion to defend, like he wants to put his body on the line. And I feel like sometimes DeMarco, he shies away from that. He's more interested in getting the goals, getting the spotlight for doing things in the final third, when in reality, your primary purpose is to stop the opposition from scoring, from creating opportunities. And I also feel like the fact that Luis Enrique can play both, like he can play as a left-sided wing-back, he can play as a right-sided wing-back, there is going to be pressure on somebody like DeMarco to step up. Because if not, Enrique, for me, will come in and he will offer just as much as somebody like DeMarco in the final third. And if anything, he probably will look like a far better defender. If not, Carlos Augusto is always more than ready to step up into his position. Yes, DeMarco, he has the reputation at Inter as being their best wing-back, but maybe that was under Simone Inzaghi. Chivu doesn't owe him anything. Chivu doesn't owe DeMarco anything. I'm going to judge you based on what you're doing now under my reign. And if you can't defend and you're coming across like a defensive liability week in, week out, you might get phased out of the team. And I've seen it happen when new coaches come in. So the second player, DeMarco. And the third player under pressure at Inter, in my opinion, is the captain. It was difficult. It was either Marcus Thuram or Lautaro Martinez. And I've ended up going with Lautaro Martinez. I feel like Lautaro Martinez, when it came to the knockout stages of the Champions League, he was there. Like, he was the Lautaro Martinez you wanted. The captain. The guy that stepped up. The guy that took all the pressure on his shoulders and he delivered the goods week in, week out, home, away. Big pressure moments. But I feel like last season, like Lautaro Martinez throughout the entire Serie A campaign, he was a little bit of a letdown offensively. As much as, yes, he gets involved, he creates opportunities, he scores you goals. But one thing a lot of people seem to forget is that the season prior, when Inter won the Scudetto, he scored 24 league goals. Like, he was the talisman, he was the goal scorer, he was the guy. Give me the ball in the final third. There's a 90% chance I'm putting this into the back of the net and I'm punishing the opposition. Last season, he played more minutes, even though similar amount of appearances. He scored 50% less. He scored 12 league goals. Now, of course, we can always turn around and say Inter last season weren't as good offensively as they were the season before when they won the Scudetto. But now I'm looking at him and I'm thinking, with all of the unrest around Inter, especially in the summer, from the Champions League final humiliation to Simone Inzaghi leaving, to Beppe Marotta's comments, to now bringing in some younger player, Sucic. He's young. He needs somebody to stand by him. Somebody like Luis Enrique, he needs somebody to stand by him. But at the same time, Inter have got now backups in attack. I feel like Marcus Thuram and Lautaro Martinez, they always do. We can get away with murder. We can miss 50 opportunities. Who's really coming in to replace Correa? Correa will miss you 51. Arnautovic, he's not really going to pull strings like that. Now with Inter, if Lautaro Martinez doesn't step up, if Marcus Thuram doesn't step up, there's Bonny, and Bonny's looked great in pre-season. There's Esposito, he's looked great. And these guys come with hunger. These guys come with a statement to make. Like, these guys actually want to cement their spot in the team. These guys are fighting for Martinez and Thuram's position. And I feel like sometimes complacency in football is what results in a player's performances dropping off. Martinez, for me, this season, under a new coach, after the embarrassment of last season, he now needs to unite the camp. He needs to be the captain. He needs to be the consistent performer. He needs to be the guy that has an impact on games on a consistent basis all over the park, because Martinez can do it. And for me, it was difficult because I could also turn around and say Lautaro Martinez, because his like-for-like replacement in terms of the way they play the game is somebody like Bonny, okay? But Martinez, for me, the drop-off offensively in terms of his output, to go from 24 to 12, and I feel like last season he did come across a little bit wasteful in the final third. It's definitely something he needs to rectify this season, and I feel like it would be massive for somebody like Chivu. Walking in, the pressure of Inter, knowing how last season ended, knowing about all the question marks. Are you ready for the job? Can you step up? He needs his captain on his side, and he needs his captain fully fit and fully firing on all cylinders on a consistent basis. So for me, those are the three players, in my opinion, that are under the most pressure. Of course, for different reasons. Now, if you're new, make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, and I will catch you guys on another one.